Hello. So, I am filming the intros for almost all of my August, September, and October videos in advance because I am traveling for half of September and all of October. And August is going to be preparing for that, plus most likely moving. So I wanted to make sure that I at least got the intros filmed. But in preparation for my trip, I have decided that I am going to be reading one book set in each country that I am visiting. Now, my trip is to England and then specific parts of Europe. So for the book set in England, I'm going to be reading The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. I'll get into what these are about as I read them. But yeah, so The Reading List is my one for Europe. And another place I'm going is Italy. So for that, I'm going to be reading The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. Then this book actually covers two places I'm going, which is Germany and Austria, and that is The Parent Trap by Eric Kastner. The reason that this fits both is because one of the twins is from Germany and one is from Austria. So that covers both of those. And then the other two are audiobooks. Another place I'm going is Switzerland, and for that I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Heidi. And the last book, which is actually the first book I'm going to talk about in this vlog because I already filmed the clip for this one. Yeah, I already read and filmed the clip for this one, so you're actually going to see that one straight after this intro. And that is France, and for that I read Tunnel of Bones, which is the second book in the City of Ghosts series, I think it is, by Victoria Schwab. Yeah, so that's just a quick intro, and now I will flash back to the clip of me having already read my France book, and then the rest of this will kick off after that. Bye. Hi, so I'm filming this specific part of the video probably about a month before I actually start doing the rest of them. But I am reading Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab, which is set in Paris. Now, I remember really enjoying the first one, and I'm not that far into the book, but it's not that long of an audiobook, so if I don't do a beginning clip now, I'm probably not going to be able to pick up the camera until I finished it. But I really do love these characters. I don't remember much about the first one, but I do remember really enjoying it. Yeah, so in this book, Cassidy and her parents have gone to Paris to film another episode of their TV show. She still has her ghost friend Jacob, and she still has her cat. I don't know what's going to happen in it, but if I like it as much as the first one, then it's going to be a good time. And I will catch up with you once I've read some more. Bye. Hi, so I just realized that I never actually came back and gave you a final thoughts section of Tunnel of Bones. I really actually enjoyed this story. It's so sad though, because it's about a child ghost who's lost in the ghost world, and it's such a sad tale about this 6-year-old who the main character Cassidy and Jacob are trying to help. And yeah, so it's so sad because this one's about a 6-year-old child, and the story itself is just, it's really good. And I would recommend it. But if you don't like stories about sad children, then I wouldn't recommend it. But I thought it was good, and it's 5 stars. And we also got more of like Jacob's story about how he died. He actually told Cassidy at the end of this book. But yeah, so it's a short book, but I loved it. 5 stars. I'll see you in the next clip. Okay, I doubt this is going to hold because this camera is balanced very precariously, but I have started The Parent Trap by Eric Kastner. I don't know if there's a accent on the A, but yeah, anyway. So, for anyone who doesn't know the story of The Parent Trap, this is the story of 2 twin sisters who have been separated their whole lives. They meet at the summer camp, and then they swap places to meet the other parent that they've never met, and also attempt to get their parents back together. Now, I'm only a chapter in, which is like 20 pages. It reads quite quick because it is written for children. But yeah, it seems, because it's written for kids, they just get straight into the meeting the sisters like instantly. I can't remember if it was this quick in the films, but it just seemed very quick. Like within 2 pages, they had been introduced to each other. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, this is my read for Germany and Austria to get me into this preparation for my trip. Yeah, so the twins in this are named Louise and Lottie. I know that in the Lindsay Lohan version, they were Hallie and Annie. And I can't remember what the names were in the Hayley Mills one. But I think I'm going to rewatch both versions of The Parent Trap so that I can get the nostalgia of watching that while reading this. Now, this isn't a very long book, so I should realistically finish this tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock at night, so I need to sleep, so I can't smash this out tonight. But yeah, I'll probably get it finished tomorrow, and I'll probably get my nostalgia fix by watching both versions of The Parent Trap, the Hayley Mills version and the Lindsay Lohan. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for this update. Bye. Hello. So, I have now finished The Parent Trap by Eric Kastner. Overall, I found this book cute. It's a children's book, so it's a solid 3 stars. I was drawn into the story. Yes, everything happened really quickly, but it is a book for children. So, but yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, it's going to set it at 3 stars because the story wasn't long enough for me to everything happened really quickly, so part of that brought the score down, but it wasn't a bad book. So yeah, it sits at a 3 star. I will, at some point in this vlog, rewatch the movie for this, but not right now. Well, that's pretty much it for this update. You'll probably see that I'm filming the 2 clips the 2 books you've already seen. I'm filming these in June. The other two books will come in August. Bye. Hello. So it is now officially the 1st of August, which is actually when I intended to start this vlog, but I'm already 2 books into it. So we're just going to continue in the month that I intended to do this. And my book for Italy, in preparation for my trip there, is The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I've mentioned that I'm reading this on a couple of Discord chats that I'm in, and yeah, I've heard really good things about it, and people say that it's one of her underrated works, and they loved it as a child, and yeah, so I'm actually really excited for it. I've never actually read anything of Cornelia Funke before. I haven't read Inkheart, so I figured this was like a good little taster to get me into this. Yeah, so I'm gonna join Sprint. I am taking part in Pick Pongathon in August, as well as a couple of others, and their reading sprints, or their opening sprints, started about half an hour. So I'm gonna get breakfast, and then I will read or start this book then, or on the sprints. Right, bye. Okay, so I am one chapter in to The Thief Lord by Cornelia. Hold on. Sorry, my brother's on a phone call to their therapist and the window was open, so I was worried that hearing my voice would interrupt the call. Anyway, like I was saying, I am one chapter in to The Thief Lord. I do appreciate that they didn't bother, that they kind of just threw the backstory in a couple of sentences rather than having like a build-up chapter. It goes straight into this guy Victor trying to find these two orphan brothers named, what were their names? Hold on. Bo and Prosper. But so I do appreciate that they kind of just threw it in sentences rather than have like one or two chapters of these boys. The first chapter, it basically does what the first sentence says, which is two orphaned brothers have run away to Venice. And yeah, so the first chapter is literally this person, like this woman coming to Victor to try and find Bo and Prosper, who have run away to Venice. And yeah, so that's essentially what the first chapter was. It was only like 7 pages. But yeah, I did like that it just went straight into it. I mean, it is a kid's book, so it was written in like 2000. But yeah, so I'm liking the writing style so far, and they didn't beat around the bush, which I appreciate. But I will keep reading, and I'll probably give you an update at 100 pages, or whenever I feel like I need to give an update. All right, bye. Okay, so I'm just going to give my initial thoughts on The Thief Lord. I'm now 62 pages in, and it's kind of giving me like Oliver Twist vibes, like the gang of boys. Yeah, the gang of boys all like worshipping or listening to one main person, but in this group it's another child, the Thief Lord, instead of Fagin. But yeah, I know that wasn't the intention, but that's kind of what I'm getting from this. But yeah, I am really enjoying the story. It's pretty much just a bunch of kids trying to look out for each other in Venice, and like making sure people don't get hurt and trying to survive. But yeah, I am really enjoying this book. It's well written. The chapters are pretty short, so yeah, the chapters are pretty short. And so far the translation to English has translated well. I have been told that some of it later on may not translate right, but I'll get to that. But I'll worry about that when I get to it. But yeah, the Thief Lord himself is named Scipio. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelt like Scipio. So that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. But yeah, I I am really enjoying the story so far. I think it's well written. There's not really much to say about it because it's both for kids, but not really enough has happened for me to give my big thoughts on it. But yeah, essentially, Prosper now knows that Victor is trying to find him and Bo, and so Prosper now has that on top of having to look out for his little brother. But yeah, it is really good so far. I have nothing bad to say about it, which compared to my July reads, which compared to most of my July reads, is positive. Yeah, so I'll check back in. I'll probably check back in either at the 100 page mark just to give an update. But yeah, this was I don't know why I turned this camera on. I think I just wanted to now that I've met all the characters, I think I just wanted to give my thoughts. But yeah, I will track back in with you at some point. Bye. Okay, and I have finished The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I know that I was going to check in, but I really got into the story and I just wanted to keep going. But yeah, so the premise of this story is that obviously there's a thief lord and this group of orphans who they're like a little gang, they look out for each other, and basically everything starts to change when the thief lord is given an assignment to steal something valuable and get 5 million lyre, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, so this starts them on a whirlwind adventure, and they're doing this while also trying to protect Prosper and Bo from their aunt who has custody of both of them, but only wants Bo because the image is of this angel child, and she wants nothing to do with Prosper. So they're trying to outrun the detective Victor, who's been hired to find the kids and bring them to their aunt. Yeah, it's a very good story. It's definitely a 5-star because I can't think of anything bad about it, and that's normally how my 5 stars go. But yeah, so yeah, well, it did have the liar revealed plot line, but that was done in a way that I can forgive it. Normally I don't like that storyline, liar revealed, betrayal, all that. But yeah, this one was done quite well, that I can't fault it. So yeah, this is definitely a 5-star read, which is good. And now I'll move on to the next book. Yeah, so for Switzerland, I am doing the audiobook of Heidi. Now, I did first endure this book as a kid. It is a childhood favorite, and listening to it, it is just as good as I remember it being. It's such a sweet little story about this girl named Heidi. She becomes orphaned, and then her aunt sends her to live with, I don't know if it's her grandfather or if she just calls her grandfather, but yeah, so she's sent to live in the Swiss Alps with her grandfather, and yeah, it's just a sweet little story about them about her just making friends with everyone in the Swiss Alps. She befriends this blind grandmother and her family. Yeah, it's such a cute story. And the descriptions in it make it such a vivid setting. I can see the Swiss Alps as described in the story. And The audiobook has actually taught me that it's pronounced Johanna. So, yeah, that her name is pronounced Johanna Sperry. But yeah, so I am still enjoying it just as much as I did when I was a kid. Which is good, because a lot of the time when you like stuff as a kid, it doesn't always age well when you get older. But this one has aged perfectly. And yeah, I'm basically at the point in the book where her aunt has taken her from her grandfather's and this happy life she had in the Alps, and has taken her to a completely different country, I think. She's taken her to Frankfurt, which I think is a different country than Switzerland. But yeah, so she's been taken by her strict aunt to be a companion for a girl living in a wheelchair. And yeah, she's not, despite the fact that she grew up as this girl, they don't like the girl she's become, and so it's like completely different situation, and all she wants to do is go back to all she wants to do at this point is go back to the life she's known for her whole life. But yeah, so I will be back most likely when I finish the book. I think I just want to relax and smash out the audio. Bye. And I have finished Heidi. Yeah, it was just as sweet of a story as I remember. So good. 5 stars like it was before. That's it for this update, and I will check in with you with the next book. Okay, so I read, or rather I listened to the audiobook of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang by Ian Fleming. I included this in this preparing for my trip video because one thing we're doing when we're in Germany is going to the castle where Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was filmed. So yeah, I thought I'd throw this in. But yeah, this book was written by Ian Fleming, and this was the only book he did that wasn't James Bond. And you can tell that it was written by the character or by the guy who wrote James Bond, because it is vastly different than the movie. The movie has like Truly Scrumptious, the castle, the king who hates kids, and all that chaos. The book is it's still about the same characters, but they have but the mother is still there, so it's not the 3 of them and Truly Scrumptious. It's the 4 members of the Pot family. And yeah, so they still go and get this car, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and it pretty much turns into it is when I tell you the plot, it sounds like you, and I told you it was written by the guy who wrote James Bond, you probably wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's about their adventure in this book is basically they decide to go for a drive along the English Channel into France. And while they're there, they end up in this cave, and they come across this hideout that belongs to bank robbers. So essentially they're stopping a bank robbery. Jeremy and Jemima do still get kidnapped, but it's not by the child catcher, who, by the way, still absolutely terrifying. Like, every time I saw his face on screen, I was legit terrified. But yeah, so there isn't a child catcher and this castle adventure. They're simply just a family that ends up stumbling upon a group of bank robbers. And they end up in this... Yeah, so they end up accidentally stumbling across this cave of bank robbers, and then they get themselves into hot water by destroying what was in the cave, and then the bank robbers find them, and then essentially they try to blow up and destroy to destroy the car and blow up the family. But Chitty Chitty Bang Bang gets them out of there. They end up staying in a hotel. Yeah, they end up in a hotel in Paris, and the robbers come and kidnap Jeremy and Jemima. And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang realizes this, and she tries to warn Caractacus that that the children have been kidnapped. And essentially, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang just knows where to go. So the parents get in the car, and she essentially leads them to find the kids, and by doing so, they end up capturing the robbers who have been wanted for years. So they're essentially getting a lot. So they essentially get the reward money and save their kids. So yeah, it's actually quite. But despite all of that craziness, I actually really enjoyed this. I'm giving it 5 stars. I don't even care. But yeah, so just being able to see the difference between the movie, which was actually quite terrifying for a children's movie, especially when you see that the book isn't actually nearly as terrifying as the movie. But yeah, so this book was actually a fun time. I listened to it quite quickly. It wasn't a very long audiobook, so I listened to it while driving back and forth from what I was doing today. But yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. I don't even care. And I'll move on to the last book in this video. Okay, so I am now 100 pages into The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. So from what I can grasp, this story is about 2 different characters. You've got Mukesh, who ends up in the library because he finds a book that his deceased wife had forgot to return. So yeah, this starts him on a reading journey in the library. And then you've got Alicia, who works in the library but is reluctant about wanting to work there. And yeah, so they start. Well, this bit hasn't started yet. I'm only 100 pages in, and it's only just getting to the stuff that was on the synopsis about them bonding over books, about them bonding over specific books, and starting their own little book club. But yeah, so each of them has had tragedy, or they're dealing with different stuff. Like Mukesh has lost his wife and doesn't know how to relate to his daughters or granddaughter. And then you've got Alicia. Her mum, I think, has Alzheimer's or dementia, and so yeah, her and her brother are dealing with that. Yeah, Alicia doesn't want to work at the library, but she knows that she has to because the family needs income, and yeah, so not a lot has happened so far. We've just kind of gotten the backstory of these 2 characters, but it is well written so far, and I will keep you updated when I've read some more. Oh, actually, on the reading list has like 7 books. It's broken into segments. The first segment, this first little bit, they're talking about To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which I have read. Okay, so I'm checking in because I'm now at the halfway point of the reading list. I've basically been on sprints all day and I've been reading this on and off. But yeah, I'm now up to page 193. And yeah, it's still quite a cute story. The 2 characters are bonding over the books, and Mukesh is the last book that he picked up. He picked it up purely because Alicia wanted to talk to him about it. And I just think that that is a good reason to pick up a book. I really wish that I had friends with that mindset, because I have so many times that I want to talk people's ear off about books, and half the time they just don't give a crap. So yeah, so that's kind of cute. Yeah, so they've talked. There's been about 4 books mentioned so far, I think. The Time Traveler's Wife was mentioned at the beginning, and that brought Mukesh and Alicia together, because that originally brought Mukesh to the library. Then there was To Kill a Mockingbird, which was where I was up to when I last talked to you guys. Then they've talked about Rebecca, and Rebecca is hitting Mukesh because he was getting haunted by the characters in the book. Like, he was seeing them everywhere. And he was kind of feeling like it was relating to his wife, because his wife's been dead for 2 years and he doesn't want to move on and he was starting to think about the fact that the book is probably connected to the fact that he doesn't really feel like he should move on from his wife. Yeah, so that was the thought about Rebecca, is that, yeah, he thought about that. And then the book that they just mentioned was The Kite Runner. Personally, that is the first book in this that I haven't read. That's the first book in this that I haven't read, but I'm intending to. It's a video next year. Yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to avoid spoilers for the books I haven't read yet, but luckily Sarah Nisha Adams doesn't really give too much away, just the basics of the book. But yeah, it's still a very good story so far. I'm still really liking it. And yeah, so I think I'll just give you an update when I've finished the book now. Like, unless something substantial happens, I'll just catch you at the end. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Okay, hi. I don't know how many days later it is since I last sat in front of the camera, but I have now finished The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. This book, I actually really liked this book. It was just a sweet story about these two friends being united when they needed someone the most. And there was a reveal at the end of this book that just kind of made sense in a way. But yeah, I don't really want to. Do you know what? No, I don't want to give it away. But yeah, so essentially, towards the end of the book, Mukesh and Alicia spread the word about the library, because Alicia, this is the only spoiler I'll give, Alicia loses her brother towards the end of this book, and then kind of just gets angry and closes off her mind to books again, because it's stopped her real life. But yeah, she eventually realizes that her brother loved the library as much as Mukesh's late wife did, and so they wanted to try and keep it going for the sake of the people that they loved and cared about. But yeah, this is such a good story, and I will be reading more of Sarah Nisha Adams. It's probably a 4.5. Yeah. Yes, it's probably a 4.5. I think this is the first vlog where I've actually enjoyed all of the books I've read. But yeah, anyway, this is the last video that will be up before I go overseas. I'm going to have a couple scheduled while I'm away. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!